Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How are you guys? I hope you're okay. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dewi Mullyanti. You can call me Dewi. By the way, this is my first time making a video speaking in English. So, if you're not comfortable with the pronunciation and there are mistakes in grammar use, please forgive me. So, today, in this video, I will react to a video from Mr. John, the winner of National Australia Indonesia Language Award 2015. You know, the first time I heard his speech, I thought he was from Indonesia. It turns out he is from Australia. Wow, he is awesome guy from Australia who explaining in Bahasa Indonesia. Look at him, the pronunciation, accent, intonation, like native speaker, right? So, from Mr. John's video, we can know a little historical knowledge about Bahasa Indonesia. He gives an opinion on whether Bahasa Indonesia is easy to learn or not. He also gives examples of some sentence in Bahasa Indonesia. He also knows about Bahasa Alay and others. He is cool, and I think he deserves to win the competition. Before discussing Bahasa Indonesia, to be honest, when I was in school, I never got 100 marks in Bahasa Indonesia lessons. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has had this kind of experience. Actually, in my opinion, we are also Indonesians. Sometimes we still struggle to speak in formal language or in standard language, and there are even some words in the KBBI, Kamus Besar Bahasa Indonesia, that I don't really know myself, and I have to learn continuously to be able to do it. Especially those who are not native Indonesians, there will definitely be difficulties in learning Indonesians, even a little. Don't you? Okay. Indonesia, in a country that has hundreds of ethnic groups and language, whose people are spread across tens of thousands of islands, Bahasa Indonesia can be a connecting language and national language, even though they are different. With Bahasa Indonesia, all Indonesian people are the same. Bahasa Indonesia is the language of the unity of the Indonesian nation. Bahasa Indonesia is still not difficult to learn. However, there are many parts of language or words in Bahasa Indonesia which are not easy to understand for most foreigners. These sections are considered very challenging for them. For example, there is such a thing as Bahasa Alay, as Mr. John had talked about when his friend sent the wrong message. The message was Ciang with plek. Wow. Ciang with Ciang means sayang. With means sudah in Japanese. Plek is abbreviation from the word pulang, and lum is abbreviation from the belum. So, this sentence should actually be read sayang sudah pulang belum, like this. I think it's a little complicated. In addition, I will give a few examples. For example, sentence like this: apakah kamu sudah makan? And lu udah makan belum? Are two types of interrogative sentence that have the same meaning. For us Indonesians like me, of course, we can easily understand the meaning of this sentence. Although both mean the same thing, the second sentence is not the standard language according to the KBBI, Kamus Besar Bahasa Indonesia. However, unfortunately, for most foreigners who are learning to speak Bahasa Indonesia, this type of non-standard sentence is very difficult to learn. There are many types of non-standard language structure in everyday Indonesian conversation. In fact, Sometimes the spoken Indonesian is also mixed with the regional language. For us Indonesians, of course, this way of communicating is considered fun and will strengthen our brotherhood even more. However, for most foreigners, the use of Indonesian, which is sometimes mixed with regional language, is a difficulty in itself, and even they are not able to learn. Mr. John said that Bahasa Indonesia is an easy language. Indeed, the pronunciation in Bahasa Indonesia is fairly easy. Most of the letters of the alphabet only have one sound. So, although a word may be long, if you read it slowly, it is highly probable that you will be able to pronounce the word correctly, like mengucapkannya. It's long, right? If you read it slowly, like mengucapkannya, it's easy. Bahasa Indonesia grammar is also relatively easy. Take the sentence. Saya berjalan ke pasar. For example, if we change the word saya to dia, mereka, the other words don't change, and the sentence structure remains the same. It is different with English. I'm going to the market, she's going to the market, they are going to the market. It's confusing, right? But if you are talking to an Indonesian and want to greet this person, you have to choose between dozens of different words for you. There is Anda, kamu, bapak, ibu, mas, mbak, lo, ente, penjenengan, abang, akang, nona, neng, koko, cici, or ikam in Banjar language, and the list goes on. In English, every word that I mentioned before is flattened into the one word, you. So, whose language is simple now? Okay, back to the topic. Is Bahasa Indonesia easy language or not? Well, it depends. Because if what you mean by Indonesian is mediocre Indonesian, then yes, such as selamat pagi, selamat siang, apa kabar, mohon maaf, terima kasih. Indeed, speaking like that is not too difficult. So, if you want to speak with Bahasa Indonesia in their own language, you have to familiarize yourself with dozens of words that can be used as you and even more for I. Mr. John said, if you want to communicate in Bahasa Indonesia like an Indonesian, you have to imitate them in one special way. You have to love Bahasa Indonesia with all of its complexities, and you have to love that complexity. I agree with Mr. John that if we want to learn a language, especially Bahasa Indonesia, we must first realize how complicated the language is. And if the middle of learning we start to feel bored or have difficulty understanding, just enjoy the process and try our best to get maximum result. It's true, standard Indonesian may be easy for foreigners, but if the language used daily, it's quite difficult because there are some difference in the word choice, and sometimes the language used is often mixed with the respective regional language. Actually, Bahasa Indonesia is both easy and complex, depending on how we want to put ourselves in speaking. Is it just to be understood or to be accepted in the hearts of Indonesian? Okay, that's all from me. Hopefully it can be understood. And for those of you who are studying or want to learn Bahasa Indonesia, don't worry. Bahasa Indonesia is not as difficult as imagined. If there is a will to learn, keep the spirit and hopefully it will be launched in the process of understanding. Amin. Thank you for your attention. Have a nice day and see you. Bye.